Sorry that I haven't been able to vlog outdoors. I've been working hard on this new course 24/7. In the car is the only time I can vlog, so I'll go outdoors again soon. Okay, I'm looking this way though. I want to talk today quickly about how to file for a copyright, a patent, a trademark, and also how to do a term sheet, all for a very, very low price, and it's quite easy to do. And so I'll explain copyright first. So copyright basically means that if you write a book or you make a film or an online video or software or something you can't touch, like music, you can copyright it so that you own it. And you go to copyright.gov in the United States, and I'll talk about international in a second. And what you do is you first of all do a search to see if nobody has copyrighted what you want to copyright. So for me, for example, I copyrighted one of my courses called an entire MBA 1 course. I also copyrighted a couple of books I wrote as well. And you just do a search online and make sure nobody else has copyrighted that stuff before. Sorry about the glasses here. And then what you do is you either mail your book to the copyright office, which is listed on the website there. It costs you about $35. And for an online video, which is classified as a motion picture, you send it in on a USB drive, and it has to be the lowest resolution possible. It's painful because I send it in at 720 and 1080p, higher quality format, and they didn't accept it. So you send it in the lowest resolution possible onto a USB thumb drive. And then what happens is they get back to you within 6 months or so, and then you own it. Of course, you go on to the copyright.gov website first and you do a search to see if somebody else has already registered it or not. Now, when it comes to trademarks and patents, you go to the same website in the United States, which is the USPTO.gov. That's United States Patent and Trademark Office.gov. And you do a search there as well to see if somebody has already patented or trademarked what you want to trademark or patent. Now, a trademark is your brand name. Like the brand name for me from one of my courses is an entire MBA 1 course. I trademarked that so nobody can copy it. And you also have to trademark little slogans that you create as well. So for example, Udemy, which is a website I teach on, they have this really cool campaign, a marketing campaign called Be Able. Be able to learn anything. And it's interesting because if you go to the USPTO.gov website and you do a search on that, in the trademark search for Be Able, they actually trademark that. It's pretty interesting. You can do that for 2 words. It's neat. I'm sure Nike has Just Do It, which is 3 words, of course. Now, when it comes to the cost for trademarking something, it can be a couple $100s, and it usually starts around $225. It's a little bit costly, and sometimes you have to pay higher fees for them to do advanced searches to see if somebody's really using your brand. It gets complicated. With patents, it's a little bit more expensive than that. It's more than a couple $100, and it can go much, much higher too, depending on how complex the process is, what you're trying to patent. Now, when you patent something, you're patenting a way of doing something. And so if you think about it, if you're in the biotech industry and you want to kind of patent the way that a certain biotech product works, it's really complicated, and it costs a lot more than probably a couple $100. I know that for sure. It can cost many, many thousands of dollars to do. Now, for international and for those that are in the United States that want to do a trademark, for example, overseas, there's something called the Madrid Protocol, which was signed in the late 1980s, I think 1989, in which close to 100 countries will honor each other's trademarks, including China, United States, Serbia. I saw a bunch of others there. You can look it up as well on Wikipedia, which is where I do all my research. I'm going to stop so I can look you now. Now, if you want to if you want to ask more advanced questions about this sort of thing, I'm not a lawyer, so please don't just take my legal advice ever. But what I do is I use this fantastic website, and it's called LegalZoom.com. And I use them a lot for my international stuff as well, because I was clueless when it came to this stuff. And so what you can do is you can go to LegalZoom.com. And they can do all three of the aforementioned intellectual property stuff for you. The copyrights, the trademarks, and the patents. They'll just charge you an extra maybe $100, $200, or $300 more on top of that, which might be worth it if you're really busy and you don't know what to do. I used them the first time. I don't use them anymore though. But the beautiful thing about LegalZoom is what you can do is if you want to talk to any lawyer for a personal matter, you can get a half-hour call for $15. It's amazing with a lawyer. $15, incredible. And for a business call, which I've done a bunch of them, it's $30 for half an hour, which is amazing. And I did a call over the past year with an international copyright and trademark lawyer. And I wanted to get my stuff, my courses and books and whatever, copyrighted and trademarked overseas. And the lawyer told me about the Madrid Protocol, but the law changes a lot overseas. And the only region that they couldn't help me with trademarking or copyrighting my stuff was the United Kingdom because of Brexit. There's just no precedent. The lawyers didn't really know what to do. So what I recommend is for those of you that have more complex questions about trademarks, patents, and copyrights, whether you're in the United States or overseas, I really recommend going to LegalZoom.com. By the way, I'm never affiliated with these companies. I never make a dime off this stuff. I'm just trying to help. So that's what I recommend doing. Now, when it comes to, and by the way, if you're working at a company and you want to start your own company, just be careful about registering this stuff because the lawyers that work at your company or represent your company, whatever, they can always do a search online. So what you can do in that case is you can create your own separate company, like an LLC, in a different name, whatever, and then set it up that way, or in your someone in your family's name. Now, when it comes to term sheets, so whenever you accept money from a venture capital firm to invest in your company or a high net worth investor, and I always recommend never getting a loan to start a company, okay? Always get equity investors, high net worth investors or venture investors, whatever, to invest. And I say that because if you get a loan, the banks are chicken. And if you are just slightly late on paying back your loan, they'll come after you and they can take away your house and your car, and it's just terrible. I've seen that happen before. It's terrible. And so if you're going to get a loan, though, of course, you want to register your company first as an LLC or a C Corp or S Corp. Talk to a real lawyer first, obviously, or somebody on LegalZoom.com, so that unfortunately, if you get sued or whatever, a bank comes after you one day, they can't take your stuff, your personal stuff, and you're protected. Now, I want to pivot here and talk quickly about term sheets. So when you accept money from a venture capital firm or a high net worth investor and invest in your company, what happens is you have to sign what's called a term sheet. And it's not a legally binding document, but it's about 10 or 15 pages, and it contains all the information that both parties need to know about each other before they make this investment. And then you look at the terms, that's why it's called a term sheet, and it might say the A round, the B round, stock options, might talk about that, the management team, where the company's located, all that stuff. And then you both sign it. Again, it's not legally binding. It just lists the basic terms. And then after the terms are signed and the term sheet has been executed or signed by both parties, then what happens is you give that term sheet to your lawyer, and the investor gives that same term sheet to their lawyer. And the lawyers talk to each other and create tons more legal documents, whatever. That's just how it works. Now, before you go down that road, I want you to understand how a term sheet works. And I've got an amazing resource for you, okay? There's a great law firm that I've used here in the Bay Area that represents the best tech companies and venture companies. It's called Wilson Sonsini. It's amazing. And I had one of the partners at the firm a guest lecture on one of my classes that night a while back, and I learned a ton. And here's what I learned, and you can use this resource for free. It's amazing. Go to WSGR.com. That's WilsonSonsinigr.com. WSGR.com. And you can search that website, and there's what's called a term sheet generator for you. And it's just a really simplistic web process where they ask you a bunch of questions. You enter in a bunch of fields, like your name, and also how much money the other party's going to give you, what are some of the terms. And if the stuff is complicated, and it was really complicated for me, it still is. It's great because on WSGR's website, through this term sheet generator, what happens is you can click on any item and it'll explain it to you in more detail, okay, like options and all that stuff, whatever, preferred stock, common stock, preferred stock gets preferential treatment, common stock is the lowest low, etc. It'll explain all that. And then when you're done going through all those 46 steps or however many steps there are, it automatically creates a PDF or a Microsoft Word document for you. And it's a really good process for you to understand before you get lawyers involved. This stuff is not as complicated as you think it is. So the bottom line is, to copyright or patent or trademark something, it's a couple $100, all the way down to say $35 if you want to copyright something yourself. And if you don't want to do it yourself, if you don't have the time or the bandwidth or the understanding or patience, whatever, I really recommend using LegalZoom.com. And also, when it comes to term sheets, to get a sample term sheet made for you for free, you can always go to WSGR.com or Wilson Sonsini's website and just do a search there for term sheets. So I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful, and only if this is helpful, please click the like button and subscribe. I'm at the gym now. I'm looking forward to my workout. After I finish my workout, I always say to myself, God, I wish I didn't work out. Said no one ever. I feel great afterwards. Anyway, I need it. So I'll see you mañana. Thanks.